Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and today we're talking about the Masters of Evil, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Spider-Man, all sorts of stuff. But before we get into all that, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and leave us a comment. That helps us out with the YouTube algorithm, but also we love hearing from you guys. We've got an awesome community here, and it's all thanks to you. So thank you so much for being here. So, all that said, let's dive in. Prologue to today's story takes place in space, inside the head of the dead Galactus robot, where the robotic masters of evil hold a meeting. Gathered here are robotic duplicates of the Abomination, Arcade, Atuma, the Black Cat, Blizzard, the Dark Sentry, aka Void, Doctor Doom, Doctor Octopus, the Green Goblin, Ironmonger, the Leader, Loki, Magneto, the Mandarin, Mysterio, Red Skull, Scarecrow, and Ultron. And in the background is a robotic duplicate of an obscure villain named Tower, aka Edward Pasternak, who is carrying various pieces of equipment into the room and setting them where they go. The Doctor Doom robot calls the meeting to order and explains that he was recently on the Skrull homeworld and that the Skrulls created not only technology that could create the Super Skrull, but also technology that could reproduce items like Thor's hammer. So Doom used that technology to try to create the Infinity Gems. But the Doombot says the Skrull machinery was flawed, so the gems it created were also flawed. But when Doom was rebuilt, he still recalled the machines and how they were made. So he wants his new Masters of Evil to steal the components that he needs to build a better version of that technology on Earth, then create proper replicas of the Infinity Gems. Normally, the others might be unwilling to obey the Doctor Doom robot. But since he's the only one who seems to know how to build this new Infinity Gauntlet, they go along with his plans for now. Which brings us to the main plot, where Abomination and Ironmonger steal the first component they need from a location in Silicon Valley. Hulk and Iron Man show up and they all fight. Interestingly enough, Ironmonger manages to knock out the Hulk before he can get more angry. As a brief aside, each round of combat where he is angry, his strength goes up one column shift for each turn. So the key to defeating the Hulk is to push the attack early on before he can do that, which Ironmonger actually managed to do. Also, the armor includes layer after layer of skin armor, force fields, etc., making it insanely hard to damage, which is why Abomination is struggling with Iron Man. Luckily for him, Ironmonger lends a hand, and between the two of them, the villains actually manage to knock out Iron Man. Ironmonger wants to finish Stark off, but Doctor Doom teleports them back to their headquarters. Ironmonger is furious, but Doom does not care. He tells him his ego is irrelevant and all that matters is power and Doom's ability to obtain it. Again, Ironmonger is unhappy, but since there's a chance he might end up with some Infinity Gems of his own, he shuts his mouth. Back in Silicon Valley, Stark and Banner are woken up by Mantis. They explain what happened, and Mantis makes sure that Banner stays calm. They take a Quinjet back to the Avengers' West Coast compound. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, Arcade and Mysterio steal the next component they need in New York City, only to encounter Spider Man and Captain America. This time, the heroes win and take the two robotic villains to a shield facility to question them. So Doctor Doom sends the robotic version of Dark Sentry to rescue them. Spider Man is the first to get knocked out. Well, Cap puts up a good fight. But in the end, Cap gets knocked out too. And both of the villains and the tech are beamed up to the cloaked headquarters. Next, Atuma and Magneto are sent to recover a nuclear submarine. They encounter various Atlanteans, but none of them are a match for Magneto. So the villains take the sub. After that, Loki and Mandarin go to the blue area on the moon where they fight the Inhumans and win. They steal some tech and return to their headquarters. Tower and Ultron then go to an AIM facility where they wipe everyone out and they take what they want. And then we get to what was, in my opinion, the coolest part of this game session when the Green Goblin, the leader, and the Red Skull cause a distraction to lure the Fantastic Four away from their headquarters. Black Cat manages to sneak in past the security system and shut it off for the others. Blizzard is there in case the Human Torch shows up. Scarecrow is along for the ride too. And Scarecrow is the first one who has the misfortune of running into a familiar face. See, while most of the characters in our game are the kids or the grandkids of the originals, and most of the heroes died during the Blackest Night event from a decade and a half ago, we see that one character has managed to survive this entire time. So a gruff old man's voice tells Scarecrow that breaking and entering is a crime and that he's here to end crime. And so he puts a bullet right between the eyes of the robotic Scarecrow. And this old man is Frank Castle, the real deal. And he has been doing this since 1974. He puts down the Scarecrow and then slips into the vents before the other robots can show up. And then one by one, he takes them all out with surgical precision. And it was awesome. He's slower now, and he's had so many injuries over the years that no matter what he does, he is always in pain. But he powers through and takes them all out. By the time the Fantastic Force return home and find a bunch of dead robots laying around, they start to piece everything together. The thing that the robots came to steal was the ultimate nullifier. The leader had it in his hand when the Punisher took him out. Reed examines the robots and recognizes them as upgraded versions of what Arcade used to make in Murder World. So Reed uses some high-tech communications equipment to contact the Skrull Empress and talk to her. She passes along to him that the good Skrulls are finally winning that civil war that they were waging against the evil rebel Skrulls. All because a Doombot tried to use the bad guy's gear to make an Infinity Gauntlet. And in the process, the bad guy's technology was destroyed, and that turned the tide of the war. Reed figures out that Doom wanted to turn the ultimate nullifier into a limitless energy source to make Infinity Gems. So without it, the bad guys still don't have their ultimate weapon. Which brings us to the epilogue. Reed Richards contacts the other superhero teams like the Avengers and the X-Men, and he makes sure that everybody's on the same page. At least now they know what Doom is trying to accomplish. And of course, today's tale is far from over, but what comes next is a story for another day. We had fun with this one. We hope you had fun hearing about it. If so, as always, smash like, make sure you're subscribed, and leave us a comment. And from everybody here at the longest running superhero role-playing game on Earth, we hope you have a good one, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Bye.